Welcome back to the Coach Emery Show, aka the Emery Show. I'm your host, Coach Emery, aka Emery McMillan. And today I have with me one of my good friends, a super dope individual, an author, a 10-time author, a holistic nutritionist. What aren't you? On top of that, got a 9-to-5 and does other stuff as well. But I'm gonna let her introduce herself. This is Kathleen, Nicole. And I'm gonna let her introduce herself, and then I'm gonna jump in with a bunch of questions like I always do.
Okay, so I have been watching some of your show and I've been on previous podcasts, and I know you always start off and say, introduce yourself. And it's so weird when people be like, tell me about yourself. And I was like, oh my God, what do I say? Where do I start? So I was thinking about it ahead of time. Okay. And I was like, you know what? How I'm going to introduce myself is I am the hope and dream of the slave, and I am my ancestors' wildest dream.
Well, I mean, you don't have to end the show like that. We just started. Like, wow, okay, fine. You know what? And the award for the best intro goes to, you know what? I love that. I love that. And I'm glad you talked about that, because before the show, I told you we're going to go deep this time. So I appreciate that. Now, tell them what you do professionally.
Okay, yep. Then I was going to get into that. So,
okay. I like that though.
As you mentioned, I am a 10-time author.
How many times?
10. Uh-huh. And my most recent book became an Amazon #1 bestseller in 2 categories, a #1 new release in 1 category. And I'm a certified holistic nutritionist, a nutrition and wellness consultant, a vaginal steam practitioner, a yin yoga instructor, a death and mourning doula, and then most recently a certified book publisher. And so those are my titles. Those are my, qualifications, certifications, but I'm just so committed to healing and growth and showing other Black women, especially, how to heal, how to transform into the best possible version of themselves and really experience the beauty and joy of optimal health.
Wow. So you said a lot of things that you are. And because I know you, right, I have to call you out, because she didn't mention that she's also like a I forgot the phrase for it, but fasting. Like, what are you like a?
Oh yes, I thought about that in my head. So I'm an intermittent fasting expert. Okay, I am the guru when it comes to intermittent fasting.
So tell them how many days you've been fasting.
Okay, I didn't even look at my days today, but I've been intermittent fasting. I started year 5 on July 24th. So that's over close to 1,500 days of intermittent fasting, well over 26,000 hours. So wow. Any and everything. And okay, we'll talk about it later, but I have a free gift for all your viewers related to fasting and related to healing. So remind me before we end that just a special gift for your viewers only.
Oh, wow. See, now I feel special. You're trying to show out today. All right. So I definitely appreciate that. So this is one of the most amazing people that I've met. And I know I say that about people, but there's a lot of them, right? But she's one of them, and she's one of the most amazing people that I met. I met her, we were speaking at an event together. Emmanuel Kulu had a book release at the library in Buffalo, New York, and we were both speaking. And when she was talking about fasting, she was like, I've been fasting for, I think at the time it was like, what was it, like 1,000 days or something like that? Something like some random number of days. And I'm like, how do you not eat for all those days? I didn't know anything about fasting. I'm like, wait, you didn't eat you look great for not eating for 1,000 days. I didn't understand the concept. And then when she did her presentation, she explained that it's not about, not eating at all. It's the time frame in which you eat and allow yourself to go into a non-feeding time frame. So what I want you to do right now, if you can, just explain what fasting is.
Okay, so intermittent fasting is also called time restricted eating. So it's really for a set number of hours of every day you do not eat. And when you are not eating, your body is in healing mode. And then once those hours are up, you break your fast and then you go into your feeding window. So I have been, at that time, it was like 966 days. And so it's not that I hadn't eaten for 966 days. It was that for 966 days, for a set number of hours, at least 16 hours, I did not eat. Wow. And so that is, I just love fasting. It is, the benefits of it are just amazing. It's the game changer, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, energetically. It will upgrade your life in every way, shape, or form. I will never stop fasting. I can't imagine what my life would be like if I had not started fasting. That's how I wrote 10 books, by fasting. That's how I got all those certifications, by fasting, because you know what? Your mind, your cognitive function is just 10 times increased. You're accessing your melanin via a higher secretion of the pineal gland of melanin. You're accessing like your God-given ashe, which is your power. You are tapping into your DNA, our melanin-rich DNA. We're tapping into the same knowledge and power of our ancestors, the one that built the pyramids. So you literally become your superhuman self by fasting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now you just broke down a lot about fasting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to dissect a couple pieces of fasting, and then I want to move on to something else, because I have a lot of questions for all of the hats you wear today. So regarding fasting, I know that when I was listening to you speak, you were talking about the health benefits regarding different diseases, different things that it allows your body to naturally fight off. Can you share some of those with me? Because previously I had a couple days ago, I had a guest on talking about the benefits of the certain type of eating and how it affects certain diseases. And I wanted you to kind of share your aspect of how fasting affects diseases as well.
Okay, so fasting is the first principle of healing. It's the first principle of medicine. It supersedes any type of diet, like, going vegan, Dr. Sebi, macros, calorie restriction, calorie counting. Fasting supersedes all of that, because what it does is that it puts your body in its natural state to repair, to regenerate, to renew. So back in 2013, I was diagnosed with hypertension. I was only 29 years old. And that was a wake-up call to me, because hypertension, type 2 diabetes, all types of different cancers, all of that runs in my family. And so at not even 30, I was already on the road to living that life. And I did not want that to be my future, taking pills back and forth to the doctor. And so what I did back then was I cut back on the amount of food that I ate and the types of food that I ate, and started drinking more water. But what really sustained me was when I started fasting. And that has kept my blood pressure. I don't have hypertension anymore. In fact, in 2019, I went to get some more life insurance. And so I had to get all this blood work done and all of that. And my insurance agent called and said, you had one of the highest health ratings of any of my clients. Wow. And so I attribute that to intermittent fasting. So it will literally reverse every single chronic disease that you suffer from, like every single last one. You name it, if you got it, you start fasting long enough, you do it the right way, you commit to it, you are consistent, you won't have it anymore at all.
Wow. Well, I thank you for sharing that, because I know a lot of people, one of the things that they all, struggle with, especially post-COVID and, being in the house, didn't have the most healthy foods in the house, didn't have the best eating time frame. A lot of people call it COVID weight. And that is going, that does attribute to disease and things like that. So I wanted you to share that, because I wanted to give a perspective of how intermittent fasting does benefit the health. And I know you're a direct testament to that. That's why I wanted to make sure I asked you that question today. So I thank you for that. And I want to jump into another question for you. Now, this question, I've been wanting to ask you this question for a while.
Okay.
how do you write so many books? Aside from the fasting,
Okay.
how
Oh,
do you
okay.
get so much, like, how do you get the ideas for so many books? Because and let me just be very transparent about why I'm asking that. I believe
Mhm.
that the window of time of your books spans 3 or 4 years, right? So
Yes, I
10
released
books in
my
4 years.
first book in December 2019. So
Yeah, we're at 3
we're at,
years.
yeah, we're at 3 years.
So 10 books in 3 years. How do you do that?
So I want to share what my plan is going forward. So my plan is to release a book a month for the next 30 months. So yes.
Hmm.
So I read a book that referenced an article that said that authors, the most successful authors, have a catalog of an average of 28 books. Now, mind you, they're not these long novels, they're short reads, anywhere from 10,000 to 30,000 words. And so that's the goal of what I'm doing, because your catalog grows. And then that's just seems to be like the trajectory of where I'm trying to go as a writer. But I've been blogging since 2015.
Gotcha.
I have over 150 articles that I've written from 2015. And so if you take those articles, if you expand on them or you combine them, there you have a book. I have enough material from years ago to transform them into books. So that's why I can do, something like that. Because I am a writer. Like, I've been writing since I was 13. So like, that's literally what I do. I write bios,
Right.
I write obituaries, I write speeches. Like, I was in grad school, so I'm writing papers and stuff like that. So to anyone who, you want to be a writer, you want to put books out, you have to write every day. You can't just write, you. You can't write
Them
every
over there,
other
right?
day. You can't write every other day. You can't write every other week. You can't write you when the mood strikes you. No, you write something every day. If you're just journaling for yourself, write every day. And that's the same thing with any habit. Drinking water, fasting, exercise. It's what you do consistently. It's what you do daily. It's what you do habitually that's going to lead to success.
Right.
Which means you need discipline.
Yeah.
And a lot of people struggle with that discipline, but it's like, then you have to ask yourself, do I really want it? Because if you want something bad enough, even when you don't feel like it, that desire is going to push you to do it.
Right. Absolutely. Now, let's just go back, because I feel like now that you started talking, I noticed a couple more things that you left off your list of things that you are. So I'm gonna. Do you have a podcast?
Sorta.
No, but you have a podcast, right?
I did like one season with 10 episodes, and it's hard.
I can't let you do this. I have to cut you off here. I can't let you discredit your podcast. I complimented you on your podcast, and I complimented you on the way your podcast sounds and the quality of the content of your podcast. So yes, I want you to talk about your podcast. Put some respect on your podcast name right now.
No, it's okay. So listen, I know my lane, right? My lane is like books. My lane is fasting. So a podcast, it was just kind of, I read all these books about how to run a successful business or the best way to market. And, the new thing is podcasting. And so I tried it, but it's like my heart's not really in it. And so
I couldn't tell. So now you hurt my feelings because I liked it.
But I think I did. What I was doing was I was reading my blog articles. So that's why it was good, because I was reading stuff that I wrote. So just to get up and talk randomly I could do it, but it's just, I was reading my blog articles, and it was something, we can't do everything,
Right.
Our energy is so that kind of fell by the wayside. I thought about doing it again. I do want to do audiobooks though.
Listen. All right. So check this out. All right. So what's the name of your, all right. We're not going to do this. Okay. What we're going to do, we're going to tell them the name of the podcast, and they can judge for themselves, because I didn't get any of that energy when I was listening.
I don't even know where it is.
It was on Apple Podcasts.
I
what's
wouldn't
the name
even know
of it,
how
though? No, I could tell them how to get it. It's okay. Just what's the name of it?
No, I don't want them to go to the podcast. Well, you're right. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm being rude. It's the Black Girls Guide.
The Black Girls Guide podcast. Listen,
Because I was
okay,
gonna
she
say, I
got
don't want them to
stories
go
on
to the
there.
podcast. I want them to go to the book.
Oh, they're gonna go there too. They're gonna go there too. They're gonna get all of this, all this stuff. All right. So, but listen. All right, let me tell you something. There's a woman in Buffalo, New York, who I'm not even sure if she's from Buffalo. I never met her in person aside from grammar school. Her name is Karima Amin. And when she talks, she commands the room. Kathleen is our generation's Karima Amin, and she doesn't even know it. So, like when I told you that it's captivating, it really, really is captivating. So I wanted to share that with you because I don't get any of that energy from your podcast. When I hear your podcast, I'm like, yo, I gotta step it up. I gotta step it up.
Wow.
So I'm telling you right now, that's not how I don't perceive it in any of that energy at all. So y'all go check out the Black Girls Guide podcast on Apple Podcast, and then y'all come all email her, let her know, and she tripping because this is dope.
Well, talk about stepping it up. Look at me. I'm holding my phone. I'm holding a laptop up. My arms gonna be hurting by
you're not in your normal setup though.
I know. So this is I need to step it up too. But no, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I did enjoy it while I was doing it. I do want to do audio books. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to turn.
I think that's dope.
It is because I was trying to do one for my most recent book, but it's difficult because you might mess up. That means you got to start over again. And so yes. it's daunting.
Yeah, I did my audio book for my book. I haven't released it yet, but I had to literally go page by page and then stop the audio and then start the audio on the next page. And even doing that, I messed up a lot because I know my book. So it's like I'm reading it, but I already know it. So I'm putting words that aren't there. I'm like, yo, that's not what this is. But but you mentioned audiobooks, and I want to dive into books as well. So Black Girl Guide podcast, go check it out. Don't listen to her. We are our worst critics, and she just did that to herself just now. I'm not gonna let her do it. And we're gonna rock out with that. But when y'all listen to it, make sure y'all check out episode 4. Episode 4 is my favorite. And there's a story in episode 4 that really hit home. I'm a girl dad, so it hit home for me because I'm like, yo, I could really, when they get a little bit older, let them listen to this. Wow. But no, seriously. So I thank you for putting that out into the world. And, even if you don't ever go back to it, that's evergreen. That's evergreen content. And some people may not want to read a blog. They may love the fact that you read your own blog and now they get to consume it a different way. So kudos to you for that. Even though you don't want to accept the kudos.
I do. I accept it.
Okay, good.
I appreciate it. And I'm going to definitely put that on my list to revisit because I had thought about it. It was on my list, but
yeah, it was dope. I really, really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so the next question I have for you is, what is your process when writing a book, right? You have physical and you have digital books. Which one do you prefer to write, or which one do you prefer to release, and why?
I think I prefer ebooks because it's just easier.
Gotcha.
When you do paperback, you have to worry about the front cover, the spine, the back cover, what's the trim size, all of that. But with ebook, it's much easier to upload it, to get it to Kindle, or do it from my own website. And so this is my process, is that I kind of have like a title. I kind of know what I want to talk about. I kind of know what the topic is going to be. And then I think about what the title. So you have to have a catchy title, something that's going to grab people's attention. And then your subtitle, it really needs to tell people why they're going to buy the book, or what they're going to get from it, what they're going to learn from it. That's important to put in the subtitle. Like my most recent book is called Breathe Again, a 7-step guide to heal from heartbreak and open your heart to love. And so it's based off, I was inspired by Toni Braxton's song, Breathe Again. And so, but again, the title Breathe Again, it's not really catchy, but I really wanted to base it off of the song because that's how I felt. But in the subtitle, I'm telling people exactly what they're going to get by the book. You're going to get a 7-step guide to heal from heartbreak and open your heart to love. So if you're heartbroken, you have a failed relationship, you know what you're going to get when you read the book. And then a really nice book cover something that's going to like, wow, you know. So I actually went back after I released the book and I changed the book cover because I was like, it's not really hitting. And so I has like an orange background with this beautiful melanated woman with a big afro with butterflies in it. She has these sunglasses on. And so for me, I felt like this is a much better book cover to match the essence of the book. So book cover, book title, subtitle, and then and I failed to mention it, but most important is your content. Is your book good? You know, because anybody could write a book, right? It's so, but it's like you want to have a good book and you want to give your reader something that they will be able to transform themselves. You know, anybody can get information. There's so much information out there, but what people are really hungry for is transformation. So give them something that they can utilize when they incorporate it in their life. They'll go from point A to point B. Now, see, I write self-help books, so that's my goal. But if you're writing a memoir or you're writing a novel, you still have to draw people in. And that means you have to be authentic and vulnerable and transparent in your writing. Excuse me. And then you have to have a good editor. And so that's going to require someone who's going to do content editing, structural editing, then proofreading, you know, make sure that the commas are here and the sentence structure is correct. And then also but the content structural editing is make sure everything flows right. Like, does it make sense? Am I reading this and then you jump to something else? So that's important as well. And then, so it's a very involved process, but so we got a book title, subtitle, we got the cover. You asked, so I'm telling you. I'm
with it. No, I'm
right. If you want to write a book, like this is what you got to do. Have a good story, whatever it is. And then, if you're going to do Amazon KDP, like how I got my book to #1, right?
Yeah.
That's what everybody want to know. That's what I want to know. Do it. Okay. So 2 things. Number 1. So after I released my book, and it was like a whirlwind, I wanted to go #1. I knew I would, but then there was like, is this really possible? So then after that week, it was just like, wow, I can't believe I actually did it. So I took just like a break from social media and I started reading my old journal. So I go to my journal from 2020, and 7/9/2020, I wrote down all the things I wanted out of my life. And #1 was to be debt-free, which I'm still working on. I made some progress. #2 was to be a best-selling author. So in July 2020, I wrote down I was going to be a best-selling author. Last year, I bought a t-shirt that said future best-selling author. I made this whole video on Facebook about, and now 2022, I made this shit happen.
Yes, you did. Yes, you celebrate that, man. Go ahead.
So that's the first thing I did, is like, that was my intention. That was my desire. That's what I wanted. And I worked towards it. And so that's the mindset of getting to #1, but then there's the practicality of it. So Amazon, when you do upload your book in KDP, you only get to choose 2 categories, right?
Right.
But what they don't tell you is that you can actually choose up to 10 categories to have your book in.
How you do
right?
that?
Yes. So what you have to do is you have to send like a help desk support ticket to Amazon customer support, KDP support, and tell them which the other 8 categories you want your book to be in. So that is what's going to help you get to the #1 status. But then before you do that, you got to figure out what categories do you want your book in. So there's like software out there that you can kind of search for different categories. But what I did was I searched for books that were similar to the ones that I was going to produce. Like I'm writing about dating and relationships, healing, self-help, personal transformation. So I went through Amazon and kind of looked at books, and I wrote down, I think my book will fit in this category. I think my book will be a good fit in this category. So I sent it to Amazon that I wanted my book in an additional 8 categories. You can get up to 10. So at their 2, you have those 8 categories. It's important that you pick good categories. And because Amazon has so many categories, that increases your chances of ranking number one in those categories. And also your keywords are going to be very important. So I purchased software called Publisher Rocket, and I use that software you research which categories, which keywords people are searching for the most. And you want to get keywords that have at least 100 searches and they get at least $1,000 in sales. So you do those two things and combine that with a good book, a good cover, a good title, and boom, I also, I'm sorry if I'm just rambling.
No,
what I'm gonna do, I
wait,
should
wait,
probably
wait.
write a book about this, right?
Wait, let me tell you why I'm making these faces. You're not talking too long. I publish through KDP as well, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm listening like,
right. This is how you do it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
wow. I did not know half of the stuff you just said.
Right. And I didn't either and that's the thing, because my desire was to be a best-selling author. And so what I started doing as I started researching and reading books on how to become a best-selling author. I said I will go this year to read 52 books this year. So I was like, I'm gonna read a book a week for 2022. I'm at 36 books already. Most of those books were how to publish a book, how to get your book to number one selling status, what you need to do. So I did the work. And so I feel so good to like share this information, because it took me so many books. Like I have notebooks like, okay, do this, do that that step, because now I can show other people how to do the same thing, because as a writer, you want to go number one, right? It's like, who gets in the NBA and just want to play in the NBA? No, your goal is to get a championship in the NFL. Nobody goes to the Olympics to not get a gold medal, right? Nobody writes a book to just let it be whatever. Like,
right. Oh, I can't wait for my book to be last place. Like,
right. And so the fact that I figured this out, and it's like, okay, this is great. And the fact that I can add Amazon bestseller to my title. Like, I'm not just a writer, I got it on Amazon. So then that you add that, like, it's like a notch in your belt,
right.
Everybody does that. And so again, it wasn't easy to do, but again, with taking those steps, you increase your. But I will say that, regardless of number one or not, if your book is not good, you want to you don't want to just put something out, because the whole point is you want to establish yourself as an authority in your field.
Right.
Okay, so we went through all of that. So you got Publisher Rocket down, right? I did, because for me, it was affordable, and it was easy to navigate. The other software that was suggested, it was a little bit more expensive, but I was like, I can do this research on my own to what categories I want my book. And so now that I did it once, the goal is like, can I do it a second time? Can I do it a third time? Can I do it a fourth time? How many books can I get to number one? Right. So that's how I got it to number one. So you got your keywords, your categories, book cover, book title, subtitle. Yes, I put together a book launch team.
A team.
So I did TikTok, made a video on Facebook, Instagram. I sent out an email to my email list. Who wants to be on my book launch team? In exchange for a free copy, you leave a review on launch day. So that way, the more reviews that you get on launch day, the greater, like, Amazon will put your book in front of people. That's how I got to a number one new release, is because I got some amazing reviews. My book launch team came all the way through. I was sitting there.
Wait. So you came in on launch day with reviews, and see, this is why you have a publishing company now, because All the people in your publishing company are about to get the cheat codes. This is dope.
Yes. And the thing is that I'm telling everybody exactly what to do, but you know what though? It's like,
They ain't gonna do it.
and not that they won't do it, but you ain't gonna be able to do it like I do. You gotta let me. So you know what? I try to cook something that your mom made. She told you exactly how to do it.
Yes.
It's the same. It's like, this is nasty, but
Yeah, it ain't the same.
Not
Right.
the same.
Right.
Put together a book launch team. Now, the one book I read is said to try to get 100 reviews on launch day. I didn't get 100, but I tried to get as many as I could. And so on launch day, I had all these reviews. It's a 4.9 out of 5 rating I had, you know. So, and what I did was, so I got the book launch team together. They got a copy. And what I did was I had a Zoom meeting the night. Second. I had a Zoom meeting the night before launch. So it was like a book club meeting. And so it was great. I got the ladies together. We talked about the book. They told me what they enjoyed about it. And then I sent out an email the next day. Ladies, here's the link. Don't forget to leave your review. And what I'm doing is that I just I'm so grateful. The ladies and I, they don't know it yet. Well, they kind of know it. We're going to do an anthology, all of us.
Really?
I'm going to put it together. I have this vision of releasing it in Black History Month. However many ladies come together, something about, we all got a story. Everybody that was in my book launch, we all got a story. We done all been through some things. There's things that we wish our former selves knew. And so we're going to tell those stories. And so everybody, we are going to get to #1 status. So all those ladies on the book launch team are going to be Amazon #1 best-selling authors. And and not that that's everybody's goal, but it don't matter because you still say, look, I wrote a book that went #1.
Listen, I want to be in that group.
You want to be?
I want to be in that group of ladies that go best. And I'm just playing. I'm just playing. But
you could get like a group of men together, like to tell story. Like, I don't know what young boys need to know, young Black men growing up in America, knew then that you know now, something like it could do the same type of thing.
Yeah. See what I'm grateful for is that you did this research, right? But you didn't get like selfish with it. You shared the information and you kind of shared a lot. And so I'm glad that this is recorded because then I can go back and like clip certain pieces of this and share certain pieces of this, because there are a lot of authors right now. Like, authors are on the rise again. Like, something happens whenever there's a pandemic, right? Every single time there's a pandemic, there's a renaissance right after. And so we're in that renaissance for COVID. So authors are on the rise, right? Pure music is starting to come back. Love is starting to making a comeback, and all these things are making a comeback, which are typical of a time frame such as this. And so I'm glad that you and I are spearheading, in our lanes of these resurgences, because I would hate for the renaissance to be led by the people who had their hands on it before COVID.
That's another thing too, is that speaking of like a renaissance, shout out to Beyonce for putting out that album. That's like my theme music for the next year. But that's why I started my own publishing company, because to go the traditional route means you go the traditional way. And there's nothing traditional about me other than the way I am with my family. I'm traditionally that way, but I'm radical in every word. And everything that I write and do is so that Black women could take their rightful place as self-healers, healers of our community, healers of our men, the leaders of our children. And the powers that be, the white man don't want to see that happen. So why would you put me on when I'm trying to put other Black women on to put you down? So I was like, I'm going to do it this way. And it's going to be like self-help for Black women, radical self-help. Not only that spiritual bypassing stuff where, a lot of the self-help books for Black women I see, it's like affirmations this, workbook that. And that's cool. But no, we need to do deep work so that we can really transform and transition out of our trauma-induced states and really embrace the glorious healing that awaits us. So I'm here to say we gonna do this tough work, but it's gonna be so worth it. And the thing is that it's within us. It's within you. All I do, the only thing I do is just like click that light switch on inside of you. That's all my books do. And you do the rest. I offer just like little whispering in your ear, girl, you don't remember who you are. You can do this, you can do that. So that's what it's all about. And of course, the whole point is that I learn and I share and teach others. Why would I keep it for myself? It took from, and the thing is that all these books I'm reading are written by white people. And not that there's anything wrong with that. I'll learn from anybody, but it's like, there's not anybody, I haven't found it, that looks like me who's telling me how to get to these places. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the stuff that they're saying and I'm kind of repurposing it so that people who look like me will look at me and be like, oh yeah, I can go to her and she know that, or somebody who knows that.
So I have another question for you, and this is kind of taking us off of the author topic a little bit and putting us in the space of what you do as far as healing goes, right? So you spoke about healing and in the beginning, introduce yourself as a healer. I want you to give a little bit of background about the history of healing, right? Give a little background about what made you get into that, what made you understand that was important for you, and how that's impacted you and the people around you.
Well, for me, the history goes back to the slave quarters, where we did for ourselves. We were on our own. If someone was sick, if someone was ill, if something was bothering someone, they had some type of issue, some type of problem, they would go to the medicine man, the medicine woman, the elder, someone who had knowledge of how to correct the problem, or you do this and that'll be okay. And so that's something that has always been in our community. There have always been individuals who have been designated as like the community healer, the person you go to when something is wrong, and you talk to them, or they give you some type of tea or herb or something and you're better. It's with what happened is that when slavery ended and we kind of got more immersed into white society and white culture, and then you have the civil rights going even further into the present. We have the civil rights and we kind of lost contact with that innate ability to heal, with the look in to search for answers. And now we have access to, white doctors, white hospitals, Western modern medicine, and we tend to go that route as opposed to the old way where we did everything ourselves. And so that's how, for me, healing is just more so remembering who you are at the DNA level, remembering your roots, honoring your ancestors, and knowing that the answers are always there within. You just have to learn to silence the noise and trust your intuition and trust your highest truth and trust that you know what to do for yourself.
I like that. I got that. And I understand. But I want to make sure that other people understand like the origin of what that concept of healer and where that comes from for you, right? I know that you're very big on understanding ancestral concepts and different things that they've understood or where they're from. I know that you really, really, really represent for those who came before you and those who are going to come after you. That's a big part of everything that you do. So, I definitely wanted you to speak on that because a lot of people don't understand when they hear the term healer now, if they're not familiar with where we've come from or what we've been through or what we were prior, it may sound like some new school stuff, and this is nothing new school about it. This is the oldest of the oldest ways that things were done, because, you know, it was taught out from us, not taught to us.
Right, right. I always tell this story all the time. My mother, she was an infant. She was diagnosed with spinal meningitis, and they said that if she survived, she wouldn't be able to walk, talk, any of that. And so what my great grandmother did is she got my grandmother and some of the other women at the church, and they went on a 3-day fast for my mother's healing. And I always tell everybody, my mother, she don't shut her mouth. Like, she always running her mouth. So there goes that doctor's report. That's a healer. You know, that's healing. That's going within. That's going, you know, using the power. And, you know, if you grew up in a church, then you know somebody to lay hands on somebody and a miracle was performed, because that's who we are. You know, we have this connection to higher power, whatever that may be to, you know, anybody, not to just say God, but whatever you believe. But as Black people, we have that innate connection. And
Right.
so tap into it. And I always think of that story as just inspiration of the power that we have, that, you know, you can fast, you can pray, and all of a sudden a miracle.
Right.
The doctor thing, and you did something, and now it's a totally different story. And so I think we all have stories like that in our family line. Or if you were sick and your grandmother said, "Here, drink this." And what is it? Boy, shut up. Just drink it. Just then all of a sudden it's better. And you wonder
Right.
what. So that's who we are. And, you know, once we get back to that, we'll be okay.
I thank you for sharing that. And I thank you for sharing that story about your mother, because I feel like we are in a time frame now where everything is being retaught, but it's not being retaught in the way it originally looked. And so, you know, I have a lot of people from both sides that are, you know, viewers of this show, but there's a lot of things that even, you know, some of the people who are not Black will watch the show and learn and say, "Hey, I didn't know this came from this place. I didn't know this came from that place." You know, before it became this show, I had you on, I had other people on, and I got a lot of feedback about the episodes where this information was being shared, because they didn't know, right? You think that this is something that's new, because everything sounds new and trendy when you talk about it, right? Like crystals, oh, they're new. These things, geodes, oh, they're new. You know, meditation, oh, it's new. No, it's not. It's hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years old. And, you know, you talk about wealth, and, you know, wealth isn't new, right? One of the wealthiest people to ever, the wealthiest person to ever walk the planet documented, was Mansa Musa, and they still haven't matched that wealth to this day. And he went from every place he went. He built a temple and a library. So he built a temple that he can pray in, a library he can read books, and he left those temples to be standing. Some of them have been turned into, you know, colleges and things of that nature. Even now they still stand. So, you know, a lot of stuff is available to know if you look for it, right? But some people don't even know where to look, because they just think that this is where it started. So I'm glad that you talk about the origin a lot. You talk about, you know, not necessarily getting back to anything, but getting to something, right? Getting to something, getting to a place where this is normal, getting to a place where these things are normal. And I love that, because it gives, I don't want to say hope, because it just gives enlightenment to certain things that people may not know come from a certain space. So I appreciate that from you.
Absolutely. And I feel such like devotion to my ancestors. Like, I have my ancestor altar, and I will say, people, you know, they're like, "Oh, that's devil work," or, you know, "Oh, that's not, you know, that's evil." But it's like, what if 100 years from now, nobody remembered who you were? Nobody said your name. Nobody remembered your sacrifices, your love. And so it's not, we don't worship our ancestors. We just simply say, thank you. You know, thank you
Right.
for surviving that whip. You know,
Right.
thank you for just surviving. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for thinking of me. Thank you for doing whatever you needed to do to keep the family line going. And so
Right.
like 100% obligated to, I always say I'm on an ancestral assignment. Like it's bigger than me, you know, so bigger than me. And that's why I named my publishing company EBJG Publishing. EB is for my great grandmother, Ethel Bell, and JG is for my grandmother, Joan Gazarine, because I wanted to honor them in some way, because a woman's maternal line is her life force. And so how dare I, do anything and not honor my maternal line? And so it's so fitting that the first book I published under EBJG Publishing went to #1. How fitting is that?
I'd like to say that it was supposed to happen that way. Right?
So my grandmother on my dad's side, she cleaned white people's houses on Delaware. My grandfather couldn't read. He was illiterate. So by me doing these things, it's like I'm doing it for them.
Right.
I couldn't say I write what they couldn't write. I stand up when they couldn't, because they might have lost their life. And so that's why I down, and I every single act for what it is, because they couldn't. And so by doing that, I honor them, and I feel that I'm making them proud. And then I'm also setting an example for my daughter and my niece, and for those that'll come after us, and 3-4 generations from now, they'll be like, oh, Mama Cav, she did this and she did that for us. They'll remember my name, they'll have my picture hung up, and they'll say, well, she did this, so I know I can do this, So it's bigger than me. It's bigger than just my dreams and goals. It's for them. It's for the future. It's for our people. It's just what I'm, here to do. It's like karmic,
Yes.
What is episode 4, by the way?
I'm not going to go into it right this second. Because I got some questions. I got some questions for you. And you shared a lot of information, but I'm not done getting information out of you. So I got some quick fire questions for you right now that I want to ask. So the first question I want to ask you, and then what I'll do is I'll tag that episode of your show in the description for our show.
Okay.
All right. So first question is, what was the biggest obstacle that you faced when publishing your first book?
Finding out how to publish it and then market it. I would say the marketing part was something I really had to learn, because I, like most authors, thought, oh my gosh, I wrote this great book, I'm done. That is not how it works. Right. The marketing part is the hardest part. The writing is the easy part. It's the marketing. It's the getting the book out there that I really had to overcome as a challenge, because I don't know if you'll believe it or if your viewers will believe it, but I'm very introverted. I'm very shy. I love people, but I love to be by myself. Like I'm just so, to get over that obstacle of like talking about my book and, putting it out there has been a challenge for me personally.
Yeah, I believe it, because I know you. And as soon as the mics are off, this is a different person, completely different person. Super soft spoken, like it's like such a gentle spirit. But when she starts talking,
my gosh,
ain't nothing gentle.
The ancestors, writing. And so that's how I know that that's my passion, because I come out of I turn into this other person. I just start running my mouth. I don't shut up. You ask me about fasting, I'll talk to you for hours. You ask me about writing books, I'll talk to you for hours about it. But after that, it's like, okay, I need to go recharge. I need to go binge watch something on Netflix. But yeah, so the marketing part was, and for some writers, it will be the writing part. It will be the editing part. And so my thing is like, if that's your struggle, then I can help you with that part, because that's the part I'm good at. She
got a site for that.
Yeah, I got a site for that.
That's dope. My next question to you is, if you could, and this one is really deep, so I need you to really, focus on this one.
All right. Focus.
If you could be any cartoon character from any generation, who would it be and why?
A cartoon character?
Absolutely, yes.
I don't even know if they make a cartoon character that I want to be like.
Okay,
Maybe
of the
Miss
ones that you've seen.
Piggy.
Miss Piggy.
She was like, yo, you couldn't tell her that she wasn't everything. Her confidence, I absolutely loved it. You couldn't tell her Kermit ain't want her. And that she wasn't like the flyest, finest thing with that lipstick and those nails and all that stuff like that. So I wish I could have that confidence. I'm working on building my confidence up. So I guess I would be her because of her confidence.
I've never heard of that. And I think that that's the most interesting one that I've ever heard. So I thank you for that. So now my next question to you is, and this one is obviously, that one was not as serious. I made it seem like it was, but I tricked you. But so this one is, if you could give some advice to someone not necessarily looking to be an author, but someone who's looking to venture off into a space that they've not been into, turning over a new leaf, building a new career, something of that nature, what piece of advice would you give somebody?
I would say, don't tell anybody what you want to do, because people, to no fault of their own, will limit you based on not what they think is possible for you, but what they think is possible for themselves. So you might say, oh, I've made that mistake, even telling my family, and I know that they believe in me. I know that they want the best for me, but they don't think that is possible. And that's because of their limited thinking, and not judging their thinking at all. But I would say, don't tell anyone. Just do it. Work it quietly. Look for people who are doing what you're doing. Look for mentors. Read every single thing that you can on that topic, every Google article, every blog article, every book. If that's what you want to do, don't tell anybody and just go for it. And don't let your desire die.
Ooh.
I said, if nobody ever read nothing I wrote, I will still write to the day I die. Because that's just what I am. That's just what I do. So if it's who you are, if it's what you do, you'll do it, even if the odds are not in your favor. And that is actually what's going to make you successful. Because I read something that said, it doesn't matter how many times you fail, you only have to get it right once.
Right.
So that would be my advice to someone who just has a dream, has a goal. Don't tell nobody. Learn, master it, become an expert in whatever it is that you're trying to do. Expert status. See, people are lazy and people are mediocre and people are okay with being average. And so if you could get to that expert status, you will be better than at least 90% of the people that's in that field. I always tell people, not people, but I tell my daughter too, I was like, all you got to do is do the opposite of what everybody else is doing. Most people, they don't try hard at anything. If you just try a little bit harder than everybody else, you'll be better than them. So don't tell anybody, get that expert status by reading, learning, mastering that subject, and then don't ever give up on it. If that's what you want to do, do it no matter what. And by you doing it no matter what, you're going to come out on top.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The ultimate life hack. Being successful right there.
Oh my gosh, that's a great book title, actually.
What?
The Ultimate Life Hack. And then see, this is how you come up with books like me. The Ultimate Life Hack. 6 steps to be, or 3, you know what I mean?
Yo, I definitely want to be a what-da-da-da. I've been trying to be a what-da-da-da for mad long, and it has not worked for me.
You know what? You is crazy. All types of crazy.
All right, my bad. I'm sorry. I won't be a da-da-da-da. But listen, so check this out. Right now, I want you to go on a ramble, right? Like 2-minute ramble. I want people to know how they can find you, where they can find your books, where they can find your publishing company, where they can check out your blogs. I want you to just let them know, and then that way they know how to find you.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. It just came to me now. So for all your viewers, email me, contact@melaninrichwellness.com. Okay. put in the subject line, the Emery Show. And then in the body, tell me what I can do for you. If you want a free copy of my books, let me know. If you want a free 30-minute session, let me know. Let me know what I can do for you, what you need. If you need a breakdown of how I got to bestseller status, email me, let me know. You got to put it in the subject line, the Emery Show, or else I'm not going to respond. So that is my free offer, my free gift to your viewers, that you can, whatever you want from me, it's a one-time offer. Contact at melaninrichwellness.com.
Wow. Okay. I like that. Now, what about now? Wait, first of all, let me stop and be appreciative of that, because that's dope, right? And I think that that's amazing. And now I'm gonna make every guest. You just set the precedent. Now everybody got to do it. But so contact at melaninrichwellness.com, and you want to make sure you put the Emery Show in the subject line. Put in what you want, what information you need, or what, whatever.
How I can
her
support
expertise, how she can support you. Absolutely. You said it way better. See, and so what I want you to do now, though, right? How can they just be a fan? How can they be a fly on the wall on all the things you're doing and building? Where can they check out the website? I know the website, but they don't know the website. How can they check out the fasting? How can they check out the books? What's the title of the most recent book? I know you said Breathe Again on Amazon, but I want you to tell them where you exist online.
Okay, so my website is melaninrichwellness.com, and on Instagram it's at melaninrichwellness. And really, the best way you can support is to grab your freebies. I got 16 free ebooks on my website. Grab your freebies. I want to be of service. I want to give as much content, free content, as I can, and when it comes to customers, you have to build a relationship. There has to be reciprocity. There's so many people saying, buy this, buy that. And yes, I do want you to buy, but more than anything, I want you to check out what is free that you can get, that you can gain from, that you can learn. Because the people, I find so much free stuff online, free content that people offer, and it's just a blessing, and so I want to do the same. So you can, find me, go to the website, grab your freebies. If you want to buy something, buy it, but also grab your freebies and let me know how I can support you, because I really stumbled upon like a gem on how to get to this bestseller status. And it's like,
yeah, we're gonna have lots of conversations after this is over.
And it's like, how many people can get to, this status as well? And so it's just, I think it's just an amazing opportunity, and it's made me so happy. And also, like, with fasting and just the different things that I do, I've leveled up in a way. And it's like, it feels so good coming from such a troubled state, I'll say, and to be in this space. And it's like, is this real? Am I really like feeling this happy? Not that things are perfect, but it's just this peace that I have. And I know it's because I did the work, and it took years to get there. And it's just like, I want everybody to feel this way, because it feels good and you can do it. And that's the best part, is that they can do it. It's possible. It's possible. So that's really what I want. And I also want to thank you for having me on, and also congratulations on everything that you're doing. So you let me know how I can support you too.
We gonna talk, because we this is long overdue for us to be so we need to get back in the room together, because that's something that we really have talked about, and I think there's a lot of collaboration to come out of that. So we're gonna make that happen very soon. So be on the lookout for something extremely dope from the two of us together.
Definitely.
So everybody, I know y'all got an ear full. I know y'all got a heart full. I know you got a mind full. I know your mind is running 1,000,000 miles per hour right now, because you want to go be an author and a healer. And there's so many things we need to talk about. I might have to do a part 2 of this, but I want to thank y'all for sitting through. I want to thank y'all for allowing her to share this platform with you. And like she said, she wants to be of service. So please reach out to her. Please go to the website, support, buy what you could buy. get the freebies, get the books. How often does somebody put their hard-earned time into something, their hard time into something, and then say, hey, it's free? Like some people do, but an actual book that you can just go and grab and get some information and change your life, like, come on, man, that's not common. So I want y'all to take advantage of that situation. Just don't take advantage of her. Support, right? Support, follow, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Do that with the show as well right here. Hit the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. Follow if you're on if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. Just be present, but also be of support. So I want to thank you, Kathleen, for making sure that you took the time out today, you know, holding the phone up. You know, she's on the road, y'all. That's so right now she's not even at home. She's on the road and she's doing this, making it work. So I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for bearing with me with these, you know, technical difficulties.
Right.
But
I wish I was recording the beginning where all of the
oh
stuff
no,
was.
you know what? There you go. You play too much. There you go.
I'm sorry. I apologize for meaning everything I said.
You don't mean it. You don't.
I meant it. I meant it. I'm okay. You're right.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. But no, I really do thank you for providing a platform for people, you know, like myself, like upcoming authors, upcoming, you know, just it's good. It always feels good to talk about these things because sometimes you feel unheard.
Right.
You feel like nobody's listening. Are they really hearing me? But I come on here and I get to talk about the things that I love, and it makes me feel good. So thank you for providing a platform for, you know, like I said, I've been checking out, you know, your episodes, and you've just been having amazing people on the show. And I know when I saw you was posting it, I was like, wow, he's got a lot of people. And I didn't know you were doing like the everyday type of thing. So I think that is.
They don't know yet. They don't know yet.
Oh my.
But it's cool. It's cool. It's okay.
Okay, you could just cut this part out.
I'm not cutting nothing.
Oh man.
They know, but they don't know the full scope yet.
Oh,
they'll know soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It's all good. It's all good.
Well, anyways, you doing it. So
I appreciate that. And now you know, being that unheard voice, I've been in those spaces, right? And that's really what I wanted to provide, is a voice for people who are doing it. That exactly what you said, right? You know, sometimes you're building it for so long, and it's like, all right, where's the platforms to go? Right. This is that show. This is the place you want to go. I want you to go here. I want you to come here. Like back in the day, like, yo, go in the Arsenal Hall show, go in the Oprah show. I want you to come here. I want you to come here if you're building something amazing. I want you to come here if you are having a groundbreaking idea and you just launched. I want you to come here because I'm going to ask you those questions to get you engaged. I'm going to let people understand what you're building. I want them to get to know you. So that's what this is all about. So I appreciate you seeing that vision. Oh,
yeah. I'm definitely going to be sending some people your way. Like, you need to talk to him. That. You need to get on the show, girl.
Yeah. They got to apply too. You didn't have to apply. They got to apply. Right. But everybody watching and listening, man, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for being present. And as always, be dope, but be good to yourself. But you know how my closing goes. You know the closing, Kathleen?
No, I know it's be dope.
Be dope.
I know it's dope. I know
it's dope. It's dope. All right. So it's be dope and be great. Peace.
Peace.